When the forest has been cleared and the wolves wiped out, this desolate place will be the richest land in the world.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times Studio Ghibli movies tackled serious issues.
She never woke up.
For this list, we'll be looking at times films released by the Japanese animation studio addressed heavy or poignant themes. Since we'll be revealing some crucial plot points, we are issuing a spoiler alert. Which of these moments got really real? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10. The Great Kanto Earthquake. The Wind Rises. This film, written and directed by Hayao Miyazaki, combines elements of fiction with true events from the life of aircraft designer Jiro Horikoshi.
If I'm not a pilot, can I still design airplanes?
While taking a train on his way to university, Jiro is caught in the real-life earthquake that struck Japan in the year 1923. Over 100,000 people are estimated to have perished in the quake, and it brought about the annual Disaster Prevention Day that is still observed in the present. The scene is relatively brief, but it captures a sudden devastation that seismic events cause. It's one of the most serious moments in a film that doesn't shy away from heavy topics, including the loss of Jiro's fiancée.
You must live.
Number 9. The complexities of parenting. When Marnie was there. Raising kids can be hard on even the best parents. This flick explores the difficult relationships that can arise between children and their elders, thanks to some creative narrative choices.
Maybe because we're not related by blood.
It may be time to consider, like we discussed. Send her to your relatives for a while.
While staying with her foster mother's family in the countryside, Anna struggles with issues of abandonment and belonging. While she feels grief for her unknown biological parents, she worries that her guardians don't really love her. Things only get more complex once she meets a girl, Marnie, whom she eventually realizes is the spirit of her deceased grandmother.
Throw me the rope! Hurry!
Rope?
As it turns out, while Marnie was estranged from her daughter Emily, she raised a young Anna after Emily's death. Anna certainly finds out some tough information about her history, but she's all the better for it.
She had a lonely life, but she always lived it to the fullest. She lived life with a smile, determined to be happy.
Number 8. Cultural changes. Spirited Away.
I don't want any. We're gonna get in trouble. Let's just get out of here.
Don't worry. You've got Daddy here. He's got credit cards and cash.
Chihiro is a girl suffering from oblivious parents in this Academy Award-winning movie. After they're both transformed into pigs, she must rescue them and recover her own stolen name. With a memorable scene involving a polluted water spirit, there are clearly environmental issues at play.
Look, a valued customer. Welcome to our baths.
But critics and fans have also speculated about the relationship between themes of greed and the Western cultural references in the film. Some believe that Spirited Away highlights tension between traditional Japanese culture and capitalist influences from the West.
I was wondering if you could give me a job.
This can arguably be seen in Yubaba's possessions and attitudes towards money, as well as those of Chihiro's parents themselves. Although this analysis is subjective, there's no question that Spirited Away is concerned with matters of consumerism and lost identity. Number 7. The Tanuki lose their habitat. Pom Poko.
本当に素敵な暮らしができたんです。一戸建て庭付きの家に住むなんて夢のようでした。ところが
Any Ghibli fan knows that the studio often concerns itself with environmental themes. This Isao Takahata-directed feature is no exception. Focusing on a clan of Japanese raccoon dogs being displaced by human development, the Tanuki put their mystical abilities to good use in myriad attempts to prevent further habitat destruction. Unfortunately though, they aren't entirely successful. Even though it's an animated film about animals, this mature film contains several dark moments that remind us of the severity of the issue at hand. In fact, In the film's final scene, one character looks into the camera and urges the audience to take action towards conservation.
キツネやタヌキは化けて姿を消せるのもいるけど、でもウサギやイタチはどうなんですか？自分で姿を消せます？
Number 6. Chronic illness. My Neighbor Totoro. As a young child, it can be difficult to understand complex health matters, but it isn't hard to feel the emotional toll these can take on a family. This beloved fantasy film explores these issues with sensitivity at heart.
What I heard was that your mother only caught a small cold. She'll be home next weekend, I believe.
That's what they said last time, too.
After moving closer to their mother, who is undergoing long-term treatment for an illness, two young girls befriend the neighbouring spirits. Despite this new source of excitement in their lives, their mother's unstable condition proves to be an understandable source of stress.
May, the hospital said that Mommy's condition isn't very good, so she isn't going to be coming home just yet.
But why?
It leads to conflict between Satsuki and Mei, and even a brief disappearance on the latter's part. Some have speculated that this theme is autobiographical, since Hayao Miyazaki's mother spent several years in hospital battling chronic illness during his childhood. Number 5. Themes of pacifism. Howl's moving castle. Finding herself suddenly cursed, milliner Sophie moves in with Howl, a wizard conscripted by the king to battle a nearby nation. Although he desperately attempts to avoid recruitment, we later find out that he has been meddling in the fighting on his own terms.
We have tried using Madame Solomon's magic to shield our palace from the enemy's bombs, but the bombs fall on civilian homes instead. That's the problem with magic.
In one sense, we see the trauma that this involvement inflicts on Howl. In another, the conflict turns out to be unnecessary in the end. The prince whose disappearance spurred the struggle is revealed to have been Sophie's scarecrow companion. Suffered by a curse much like her own, Howl's moving castle is thought to be partially inspired by Miyazaki's perspective on the 2003 Iraq War. Ultimately, it takes multiple approaches to criticize state conflict and communicate a pacifist message.
What's happening? What did you do?
Just mess with it. It won't crash, though.
Number 4. References to the UK miners' strike. Castle in the Sky.
You can stop right there, my friend.
Think you're tough, don't you?
I'm tough enough.
We'll see about that.
The influence of mid-80s UK politics on this fantasy adventure film are numerous. In fact, director Hayao Miyazaki took multiple trips to South Wales around the time of the political conflict. He admitted to The Guardian that these travels have a direct influence on Castle in the Sky and its minor characters.
That crystal is extremely powerful, but with a power that rightfully belongs to the earth from which it came.
One of the film's main characters, Patsu, lives in a mining town full of pitmen who are anything but weak, and they prove to be invaluable allies once Patsu and his friend Shita are in need of help.
There are pirates chasing us, Uncle Palm.
Oh.
And the army's right behind them.
That sounds absolutely splendid.
With the pirate captain Dola and her henchmen on their tail, who knows what the protagonist's fate would have been if not for Duffy and his neighbours. Number 3. The consequences of technological advancement. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Taking place long after a human-induced event of apocalyptic proportions, this acclaimed film is a cautionary tale to say the least. In the wake of a massive war called the 7 Days of Fire, the land has become a toxic and dangerous place, filled with strange plants and scary critters.
Nausicaa, what are you doing here? This chamber is filled with toxic plants.
And what enabled the conflict? Giant warriors. Massive bipedal beings that are the stuff of nightmares.
It's the
warrior!
Through a dramatic narrative, the film weaves together issues of climate change, weapons of mass destruction, and artificial intelligence. The message it gets across is that humans need to be mindful of what our technological inventions bode for societies and the environment. Number 2. War tears a family apart. Grave of the Fireflies.
Please, Doctor, help her.
Give her medicine. All this child needs is some food.
She needs food.
In a catalogue that rarely shies away from darkness, this may be Studio Ghibli's most devastating film of all. Seita and Setsuko are two siblings living in Kobe, a city struck by firebombing during World War II. It's hard enough to witness the children being orphaned by the strike, but they face abuse by a relative meant to be sheltering them, and after setting out on their own, eventually succumb to starvation. Although the film's director has opined that Grave of the Fireflies is not an anti-war film, its depictions of trauma and suffering speak for themselves.
Seita. Thank you.
Whether tackling the loss of a sibling or the plight of being unhoused, it viscerally speaks to the effects of war on everyday people's lives.
I wonder where Dad is fighting now.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions. Ocean Pollution, Ponyo. This, The Little Mermaid adaptation, spotlights waste in the ocean and fishing practices. The dangers of all-powerful weapons, Castle in the Sky. The titular castle contains a precious material with atomic capabilities.
Sheeta, I'm coming.
Preserving cultural institutions, From Up on Poppy Hill. A high schooler lobbies to save an old clubhouse from demolition.
Ah, at last! Inquiring minds seeking answers to life's great mysteries. Huh? I will personally offer you my stewardship and share with you my passion for the philosophical arts.
Gender roles. The tale of Princess Kaguya, a moon spirit adopted by a mortal family, finds her life restrictive and unfulfilling.
Why would I want black teeth? I wouldn't open my mouth then. And I won't be able to laugh anymore.
You won't have to worry about that, for a noble princess does not open her mouth to laugh.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Irontown's Battle for Resources, Princess Mononoke. This movie follows Prince Ashitaka, a member of an Amishi community who is attacked by a boar god poisoned by iron.
Calm your fury! Almighty Lord, whatever you may be, God or demon, please leave us in peace!
His journey to discover the origin of the sickness leads him to Irontown, an urban development at war with the neighbouring communities and spirits.
Every night they're out there planting trees, trying to turn the mountain into a forest again. Stay here. Help me kill the forest spirit Ashitaka.
While its leader, Lady Eboshi, has authorised harmful deforestation and resource extraction, her settlement provides a home and employment for marginalised people. The conflict is disturbing, yet ethically complex to say the least, for communicating its message through a thoughtful story and tying it to simply unforgettable visuals. Princess Mononoke has to be our top pick.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.